So, as a scientist, allow me to add my little 2 cents and impute some knowledge onto you in regards to addictions and whatever innate mental illnesses that people may have. Again, it is all, nature versus nurture is a part of it. Not sure how big of a percentage it is or how big of a role it plays in one taking accountability. We have to remember there's several aspects. We have age. If it's really in regards to nurture and things like that, it's like, can an 8-year-old or can a 10-year-old, or like myself, when I was 16 and I actively came to my mother and told her that, listen, there's some things that I'm witnessing here and there's some things that I'm not witnessing here. And then she, again, would wake me up at 3, 4 in the morning crying. I don't know if it's a mental illness or not, telling me that she didn't want to talk back to me and that I should follow the guidance under her tutelage and things like that. So, being raised by someone with mental illness, nature versus nurture, we could say someone in Miami or New York has insomnia. But even then, these are two of the most party-driven and lit-up cities in our world. Tokyo as well. We could be sleep here, but those people on the other side of the country or the other side of the world are wide awake. So is it really insomnia, or is it just someone with an overactive imagination, an irregular sleep schedule? I mean, even children. You sit a boy and a girl in a classroom, have them sit at a desk with both their hands crossed. Who do you think is going to react or act up first? The boy or the girl? I mean, when we have puppies, don't we want to snip our puppies' testicles because there's too much testosterone there? It's not mental illness. It's just there's more of, again, if the barbarian was kicking down the door, you wouldn't want the little boy, but of course he would be a grown man at that point. You would want the grown man to use his physicality to defend himself or defend his household, right? And you would want the little girl to sit there with her hands crossed or whatever she's going to be able to do to support the situation. And sorry about the background noise. Hopefully it's not triggering your mental illness. But then again, nature versus nurture. Nurture from our household, from our families, things that we were born around and raised up in, or is it our governments and our societies as well that's triggering us and making us sick with all these different media advertisements? And again, a virus can jump from, or a Trojan horse can jump from a computer and jump into your body and jump into your spirit. They sell us all these products like McDonald's, all this fast food, Starbucks, too much sugar in the dang coffee. All these different things. We grow up eating soul food, and then in the middle of the night at 1 or 2 in the morning, 2 a.m., we're running to Checkers and Taco Bell and all these places that's not really serving you good food. And of course, food affects you mentally. Depending on the type of food you eat, it's going to mold your body in a certain way. And then when you go to looking at yourself in the mirror, you're going to feel a certain way about yourself, and then you're going to go about your day as such, spreading negativity. Misery loves company. So when we get into the mental illness of things and the nature versus nurture here, butterflies, one can definitely view themselves in a different light that other people don't view them. This is what we call perspective. Again, self-awareness, accountability, and things like that. Do you need an accountability partner? Do you need a self-help program? Do you need a journal? These are all tools around us. Just like psychiatrists would give us pills and all these different types of tools and breathing apparatuses to try to help us better themselves or better ourselves. Me, I can give kind of a more of an insightful input, being a scientist, being somewhat of a religious figure and what have you, and even not only walking the walk and talking the talk, actually experiencing these things. There's therapists, psychiatrists, counselors, there's pastors. They've never went through a liver transplant or had any type of major surgery. I'm talking about people twice my age. But they can get online and they can espout their opinion, that's fine. Opinions help us. Again, it's always good to debate. Sit across from someone that has a different opinion from you so that you guys can try and figure out the different causes. So, you know, someone like myself who should have a mental illness, in which I don't, and I've been able to proceed through and all across and in and out America with a good head on my shoulders, and view all these people around me as caged animals and caged birds. I don't necessarily look at them like that, but again, animal instincts take over with people. All they care about is sex. They wake up in the morning with a heart on. You know, women go to sleep at night, all they care about is a man's heart on. You know, we overeat throughout the entire day. We name call, we chastise, we deal with road rage, all these things. Mental illness, road rage is a mental illness. But do you see me driving a car? I see a lot of you guys getting in car accidents. Matter of fact, the last time I actually saw 2 accidents back to back within the same 2 weeks, I saw 444 on the car. It was like not the tag on the car, but it was like literally plastered on the side of the car, like advertisement, 444. Now, I was driving the Charger and the car blew past me, and not even 10 seconds later was in a 4-way accident with a van. Poor family was trapped in the car. But so yeah, everyone has to deal with, and if you're going to evaluate someone, guess what? Everyone deals with some form of a mental illness. No matter how big it is, if a person wants to go to the top of the Empire State Building and think they're going to jump or fly off, or even they just know, they're like, no, you know, I've lived for 40 years. Let me take one last beer, one last blow, and just jump. Or it could be something as small as mental illness. Someone's afraid of lizards. Like, why are you afraid of lizards? You're like 100 times larger than lizards. So again, we have all these professionals with their degrees, and they've been studying these things for 20 years, but I'm able to minimize them and bring it back down to reality. You know, these people sit on their high horses and their pale horses, and they judge people, sometimes making things worse. You know, is it spirituality or is it modern medicine? We had the whole exorcism of Emily Rose. We've seen so many families and so many doctors kill people that all they needed was a 12-step program, or all they needed was someone to talk to them at the end of the day. Again, laughter brings life. You know, it's funny how all these things begin with an L. I talk about Lucifer and all this stuff. Love, life, laugh, you know, learning, lectures and whatnot. But yeah, man, mental illness is definitely a serious thing. We have people dealing with it all of the time. Actually, let me take my teacher, man. Expansion is a must. You know, again, something that I predicted a year ago. These children need to FaceTime or be on live, IG live or whatever, with a teacher that's going to be able to go out in nature and explain these things. Give them a breath of fresh air, a different perspective on things. And it doesn't have to be me. We have so many different people out there. You know, you're sitting behind your desk, you're wanting to be a life coach or some type of financial coach, but you're going through a divorce and you won't tell anybody it. Now, I've never been married, but I can give advice on relationships, and I can give advice on marriage. Just like these people with these fancy telescopes that they like to shoot off into different solar systems and give their observations, not their life experiences about what's going on in these different places, but they can write books about them, and they can say that they're the most smartest people in the world. They're researching grasshopper reproduction on the moon and all this stuff. They can tell us about that, even though they haven't experienced it. And I can look at the 10 marriages I see in my family and see where they're going good and where they're going bad at. Hence, I can give advice. Might not be direct experience, but it's indirect experience. So let's start opening our minds up more when it comes to these debates and these politics. Thank you very much. What else is there do I need to address? But yeah, let's not act like mental health or mental illness is something new on this planet. The first caveman that saw a 50-foot Tyrannosaurus Rex had to deal with mental illness. He was shriveled up in the cave on a corner on a wall, terrified, his hair turning white, until he realized that he can sharpen a stick. Or like David and Goliath. He knew that it would be a waste of time trying to fight this giant close up, so he took a rock and he slung it and knocked Buddy in his eye, or gave him a concussion, whatever the story or the poem or soliloquy may be. So again, we have so many opportunities to develop the human consciousness, again, leaping into the age of Aquarius and whatnot, doing things in an eccentric way, developing new ideas, taking that next leap forward. It's about hope, it's about the children, it's about the future. I can talk about mental illness in a million different ways. I just don't need people pointing fingers and making these people feel ostracized or distracted or like they're on the outskirts of our community. So, do I want to continue? I don't want to continue. That's all I really wanted to talk about, man. There's so many people out there dealing with different things. Again, mental illness can be something as simple as someone having a fear of something that doesn't even affect them, or even dealing with addictions. You know, sometimes people try to distract themselves with things, and they become over obsessive or over productive. I mean, work can be an addiction for someone. Don't we need work to maintain our society? When is a boss ever going to tell, rarely, 1 out of 10, because bosses are selfish like that, when is a boss ever going to tell one of their workers, man, you put in too much work, why don't you take an extra day off? Why don't you take an extra week off? We know you love money, why don't we give you an extra bonus just to ease some of the pain away? You know, people jump for joy for money, right? But that's it, man. This video is getting a little bit too long. I may not be able to upload it if I keep going and going and going. Hence is why I don't put up an hour, 2 hour long lectures. Mental illness, huh? 12-12 expansion. Get out and learn how to grow a garden. Get out and learn how to do that. You're dealing with mental illness. You're dealing with addiction. It means you're dealing with control issues. That's what I'm going to sum it down today. Control issue. Find something in your life that you can control at the end of the day that has nothing to do with your addiction. But that's it. Catch you guys on the next one. Like, share, comment, subscribe, add value to the channel. Peace.